We want to take you to 2015. A library developer, probably on a tight schedule like many of us, goes to Stack Overflow and asks this question. Until now, I've created pages using the portal. I would prefer to use a coding approach. Is there a way in library to create pages programmatically? 2015. That's quite a long time ago in developer years. And actually, not so long ago, I was telling my kids that good things in life are worth waiting for.
And you told him about programmatic page creation in library?
I did tell them about programmatic page creation in library. And let's be honest, it always felt a little bit complex, a big couple.
Absolutely not. I'm sure many of you have done it. You have used library services to create layout and fragmented links.
Yeah, but I think what that developer in 2015 was really asking for, even if he didn't know the term, was a true headless way of managing pages. And that's what we are here to talk about today. But before we deep dive into the how, let's talk about the why.
Yes. Why do we do need this? What problem that is solved for you?
The answer comes down to these three terms: automation, integration, and scalability. We can automate the creation of or modification of pages, for example, when a specific event takes place in library. Take, for example, writing a Groovy script that can trigger page creation whenever an object entry is input into our system. Or we can integrate with existing workflows in library, or with business processes running outside. For example, during page creation when a new customer is registered into our CRM. And we can scale to deal with large volumes of pages performing bulk operations. Imagine a rebranding action in your company where you need to set the master page of hundreds of thousands of pages. You can now do it very quickly. Or think about reorganizing the pages in your website. Now you have our APIs to help you. The possibilities are limitless. Managing pages programmatically unlocks a wide range of powerful opportunities. So we have mentioned that library already allowed managing pages programmatically in the past. Let's take a brief look at how this has evolved throughout time. We're probably all familiar with the Java services that are available for managing entities in library, among them pages. And we know that those Java services were made available via HTTP through JSON Web Services. Several years ago, Headless Delivery APIs were introduced, and we are now presenting the Headless Admin APIs for pages. Let's see how they compare against each other. On the one hand, Java services and JSON Web Services are very similar to each other. They are both targeted at performing management of all page entities, including master pages, display page templates, page templates. They support all CRUD operations and operate with the internal service builder entities, what makes them coupled to the internals of library and not so easy to use and prone to change. Finally, neither of them take into account the user performing the request to perform segmentation. On the other hand, we have the Headless Delivery and Headless Admin APIs, which are both REST, deal with external entities, which are defined in the Open API specifications. There are some important differences between them. The Headless Delivery APIs are targeted at page rendering. They are available only for site pages and in read-only mode. And because of their nature, it makes sense that they perform segmentation and return only the relevant experience of the page. Headless Admin APIs, on the other hand, have been designed for page management. They support all CRUD operations and all page-based entities. They are not targeted at end users, but rather at admins, which means that it makes sense that they return all experiences associated to a page. Let's now deep dive into how references are managed within these new admin APIs. we're heading to our destination, the Headless Site Admin APIs. We're going to introduce the available endpoints and talk about the entities, and we're going to take a look into detail at the anatomy of a page. But before we doing that, we'd like to talk about managing references. In the Headless Delivery APIs, internal identifiers are used for managing references. These internal identifiers are assigned automatically by the system. They're unique within the system, and they change during environment promotion. An example would be the PLID of a layout.
But if they don't use internal identifiers, what do they use then?
Right. So Lourdes is reminding me that our Headless Admin APIs do not use internal identifiers because they use external reference codes. External reference codes can be specified at creation time by the users. They are unique within a scope, for example, a site or a virtual instance, and they do not change during environment promotion. For example, if we create a site page and specify its external reference code on a site, we can be assured that that value is not going to change when we move that page into another site. What may sound as a minor detail has actually a big impact and significant implications. The fact that no internal identifiers need to be created for recording a reference means that references can be stored even if the entity reference is not yet available in our system. The implication of allowing optional references is that the order in which entities are created does no longer affect the end result. The referencing entity may be created before the reference entity or vice versa, but in both cases, the creation of both entities is going to be successful and the reference between them is going to be correctly resolved without any manual intervention. This way of managing references is the basis for a robust way of performing content promotion across environments. And this is one of the key ideas we would like you to take with you today and that we will be demonstrating in our demo. Let's now take a look at how these references exactly look like. A reference needs to give us three pieces of information: what type of entity is being referenced, what's the actual reference, and the location or scope where it is expected to be found. The class name value is used for recording the type of entity. The external reference code serves as an identifier for the actual entity, and the scope, comprised of type and external reference code, will tell us where to find it. Think of the scope as a specific site or as a library. If an item reference does not contain scope, then we expect to find that entity in the same site as the page. On the other side, if a scope is specified, then we expect to find that entity in a different location. Page entities have lots of references, and you'll be seeing this format consistently used for recording all references. So after this deep dive into references, it's time to take a look at the actual page's Headless Admin APIs. You will see them listed under the Library Admin Site section. So we mentioned that Headless Admin APIs use external entities. The top-level entities are, on the one hand, site page and utility page, and on the other hand, master pages, page templates, display page templates, and their corresponding template sets and folders. You can see that there is a one-to-one relationship with the entities that you find in the UI. The available top-level endpoints match one-to-one with these entities. Notice how, for example, the fact that internally master pages, page templates, and display page templates are all stored within layout page template entries is completely hidden in these APIs. Now, let's take a look at the anatomy of a site page and understand the 4 different levels that we're going to be dealing with. At the top level, we have site pages. Take into account that even though we're going to be talking about site pages, the same structure applies to any other page entities of type content. Then one site page contains 2 page specifications, one for the draft and another one for the published version. A widget page, which are also supported, contains just one. Then each page specification will have a set of page experiences, and each page experience will have a set of page elements. These 4 levels, corresponding to the different parts of a page, are reflected in the endpoints available. Site pages and page specifications have top-level endpoints because their external reference code is unique within a site. For dealing with page elements, we need to specify the external reference code of the page element and the external reference code of the parent entities. This is because the external reference code of a page element is unique only at the page experience level. We'll be showcasing how to use each of these endpoints very shortly. So now let's look at the anatomy of the page more in detail. At the top level, we'll find the main attributes of a page, such as external reference code, localized name and friendly URL, available languages, and associated keywords and categories. Notice how the categories are expressed as item external references, which we just introduced. We also find page type, references to the parent, and information about dates and permissions. And finally, we have 2 very prominent attributes, page settings and page specifications.
One question. Are all these attributes always returned by default when requesting a site page?
Good question, Lourdes. So page settings are always returned, but page specifications are per default not returned. So keep this in mind if you miss them in your response, and make sure that you specify the nested field parameter with the page specifications value to obtain them. Let's now move on to page settings, which comprise multiple attributes, whether the page is hidden from navigation menus, custom meta tags, SEO, and Open Graph. And all of these attributes are here available within the page settings of a page. There's also a priority value to indicate the position of the page compared to its siblings. And with this, we go down to level number 2, the page specification. Here we find the type, because a content page specification is quite different from a widget page specification. Status, telling us whether it's approved or draft. External reference code, custom fields, and its own page settings. The page specification settings comprise the master page associated, the style book, and the theme, along with some customizations of CSS and JavaScript. All these are listed here and available to you. Now, in addition to this, published page specifications contain an additional attribute called the draft content page specification, which allows us to reference the draft, and the page experiences, which takes us down to the 3rd level. Here we find the name, external reference code, the associated segment, probably the most prominent attribute, the key, and the priority. The priority of a page experience is important because a value higher than 0 indicates an active experience, whereas a negative one indicates an inactive experience that will not be returned to our end customers. And finally, the set of page elements. Each page element will contain its external reference code and the parents, the position, and a set of page elements, the children, and a definition. The definition values will depend on the type of page element. Notice all the available types, and notice how some specific types are only supported as children of others. Take the collection item page element, you will only find that one as child of the collection display, or a module as child of the grid. And with this, we are ready for the action. I hand it over to Lourdes, who is going to demonstrate it all.
Well, today we are focusing on the true power of the Pages API. Our goal in this demo is to show how you can use this API directly, to use it in your own project to handle your custom flow. Yesterday, during the content promotion during the content promotion talk, our Headless colleagues, Carlos and Pablo, created several pages to help them to help with their movie. So they migrate all the content of their origin site to the target site using the pages, using the export-import framework. So internally, it is using the Pages API. We are going to start from the target site. There they have two content pages. One to list the furniture that they need in the project moving, and the other one listing the items. So now, Carlos and Pablo have a big problem. They have too many scenes and they need help of other friends.
The problem is that usually when you need help from your friends for moving, they seem to be busy.
Yes, but this time I know how to convince them. I have prepared some tapas. So in their original site, I have created a widget page with an asset publisher that display all the contents of the global site that are about tapas. And we have added also a menu display, and in the home page here, we have added a new banner with a global fragment and 3 content. The first of them, this one, belongs to the same site, and the other 2 belong to the global site. So our first task will be to migrate all those changes from the origin site to the target site. But this time we are going to use the Pages API directly. We have prepared some scripts to help us to move the content and to do the other actions that we need to do today. And all of them are in this repo that you will have linked in the last slide too. So I have to move fast. We've got a lot of things to do and we are out of time. So please don't hesitate to reach me out later. I will be happy to answer any question or provide clarification about it. So let's start. The first thing we are going to do is to use the Site Pages API. In fact, we are going to use the get method, the post method, and the put method. We are going to do it using a script that I have prepared here. Let's be. Now, let's see a little bit. Here. This script is going to retrieve all the contents using the site page get method. It's important that we have to set the nested field to page specification. That is because we want all the content of the page, not only its configuration. So we are going to retrieve all the page of the site, and later we are going to make a loop migrating one by one all the pages to the target site. We are going to use the put method to move the content page and the post to move the widget page. But it is just for demonstration purpose, because we really can't use the put to insert contents, to insert site pages too. So let's start the action. That is the response, but it has been shortened because it's too large. So you can see here the main field, the page specification of the content pages. Note that there is only one, the widget pages have only one page specification. Now let's start the loop. We are done with the first put. We have created the page item in the target site. Now we create the page furniture where we are updating because those pages exist in the site. And now we are going to create with the post the Spanish tapa. So the script is done. Let's see the target site. Now we can see we have the 3 pages. Spanish tapas is created in the site with the widget, and we are going to see the home pages.
But Lourdes, something's missing.
Oh, don't panic. This is because this content belongs to the site that we are migrating. So we have to wait to resolve this. Note that the import was okay. We have to wait to solve it. We can create the reference in the site, or we can set another scope reference. Now we are going to create the reference. I exported before from the origin site, I exported the web content. So I'm going to export him in the target site. It is going to work, it's going to work. Now we have the web content here, and we can see the pages. Let's see the home, and Torres is here. So our first task is done.
I've heard that Carlos' friends are now considering coming, but I think you need to give them some extra motivation to fully convince them. Do you have
Well,
anything?
we'll need a few more tricks to win them over. First tricks, let's improve the page SEO. We have talked with a specialist who recommends us to take some action over the page to improve the name and the URL, and also adding the HTML title. And hide from navigation the Spanish tapa that is not relevant for the movie. So I have prepared some videos to demonstrate how we had to do these changes manually on the pages. And I'm going to show the videos in this screen, in the upper screen, and later we are going to doing the same action performed using the APIs in the terminal screen, and later we are going to see the result in the bottom screen. Let's see the first video, or SEO recommendation. We have to manually, in the origin site, change the name and the URL. In case of the widget page, we have to check hide them from menu display to hide from the menu display. And note that we are setting as HTML title a formula based on the name. Now we are going to perform the same, but using the pages endpoint. This time we are going to use the same get that before, but we are going to get the pages of the target site. Later we are going to loop, and for each pages we are going to prepare a pass request to change the name, the URL, the HTML title, and if needed, a hidden for navigation menu of the page setting. Let's execute the script. Bigger?
Yes.
Well, the first step, as I said before, will be retrieve the page. This time, we don't need the nested flip. We are just want to change the page configuration, so there is no need of the content. Later, we are going to execute the loop, processing the page settings to guess if to add the HTML title and changing the name and the URL. Let's execute the script. First, The get is done. This time we have shortened the response, displaying the name and the friendly URL that we are going to change. Now start the loop. Note the payload we are using now. This is a widget page setting. That means that we are setting hidden from navigation to true. We are setting the HTML title, applying the formula and the new name and the new friendly URL. Note that we are only patching 3 fields: page settings, name, and URL. The rest of the page won't change. This time it's a content page, so we are not setting hidden from navigation to true. It remains a false. The HTML title, the name, and the URL. And the 01, and the script have executed. Let's see the result in the target side. If we reload this page, we see that the URL have changed, the name have changed, and we've had the HTML title that we decided applied. And same for the other pages. And the widget page is not present in the menu. So the second task is done. Let's see the error.
Okay.
What's next? This time, we are going to add more testy tapa to the menu. I think that maybe we can convince them in that way. This time, we are going to add a draft to the home page, and we are going to add a new tab. We are going to add the pinchos. That is a classic specialty. To do that, in the target side, there is too many operations for pending to do, so let's see the video. At first, we've got to edit the page. We've got to change the configuration of the grid to set 4 modules. We want to add the new tab in the first position, so we have to move all of them to the right. Then add the new content display. Select the content that we want, the pinchos, and set the correct template to visualize. In the draft, we can see the result. Now we want to do the same, but using the API in the target side. To do that, we are going to, this time, we are going to use the page specifications endpoint, because we only want to change the content of the page, and we need to use a post because the page doesn't have any draft, and we want to add a new one. So let's see the script. Quieren post.
Un poquito más grande, que lo veas.
Sí, a bigger. This time we have 3 steps. First, retrieve the page specifications. Take the draft page specification because, as Ruben said before, we have 2 page specifications, but we need the draft one. Then we are going to manipulate the draft content to add the new page element, set the new configuration, and set the status to draft. Later, we are going to post this payload to create the draft. Let's do it. We are getting the page specifications. Note, this is the page element that we are going to add for the pinchos content. The relevant part is this one. In this page element, node is my fragment page element. It has some configuration values, and it has an item selector with an item map. This is the art of pinchos, the content that we want to display. Note that it has not a scope. This is because it's from the same site. So let's see the action. The post is done. Let's see the target page. Now, we don't have the content, but this is the public page, the publicated draft. We need to see the draft that has been created. Don't panic. And previewing the draft, we can see the content. This time, it should be something easy. It was a leader car. So this time, or last week, we are going to change the mapping. And this time, to demonstrate it, how easy it is to use the API, we are going to do it using the UI. First, the demonstration that we want to do is just to change the mapping. We want to change the art of pinchos for Samburiñas, because there is some Pablo friends from Galicia that they say they want some local speciality. So Samburiñas, I think, may convince them. Let's try it. To do that, oops, me he adelantado. To do that, we need to use the page element endpoint. In this time, we don't want to change all the content of one page, but we want to change only one element configuration. So that's the correct endpoint to use for this. Let's do it using the script. As we are going to do it using manually using directly the endpoint, I have prepared a script just to help me to fill the request. Let's execute it. This is the API Explorer. We need here the page element endpoint, and we want to patch the page element. So that's the invocation that we need to do. We are going to set the proper site external reference code, the page specification external reference code, page experience, and then the page element. Note, the page element external reference code is the same that we posted before. So let's execute the request. That is not a good request. I have made something bad. I forget the payload. Sorry. Look, the payload. Without payload, there is no patching. Look, the payload we are going to use. The important part here is the external reference code of the content that we want to map. We have the pinchos. Let's see the draft again. We have the pinchos mapped, and we want to map here the Samburiñas. So we are going to change the mapping to Samburiñas a la Gallega. We are only changing the page element definition. That means the configuration of the fragment. So we are going to copy the payload. So this time, let's make a good request. Now it will be okay. And now we can see the result in the page. Samburiñas a la gallega is mapped. But I want to show you how easy it is to change this. So we are going to play a bit with other external reference code, changing the mapping. Let's turn back to Pinchos. Easily, we just need to change the external reference code. Executing, response OK, and reloading the target. We want to be back the Pinchos. We can choose another scope content, like aceitunas, that is from the global scope. But we are going to change the external reference code. Aceitunas, executing the request. OK, response code. Let's see the result. The content is missing. We forget something. We forget to add the scope. As I said before, we can resolve this adding aceitunas to the site or adding the scope to the reference. This time, we are going to add the scope to the reference. So setting the proper scope in the payload. Executing the request. Let's see the response. Response, okay. What do you think? Do we have aceituna? Yes. Aceitunas is here. But I think that we better turn back to Samburiñas because we really need the Galician help. So, Samburiñas. It's important to set no scope with Samburiñas because it's from the same site. So we remove the scope, execute again, okay, that's okay. And Samburiñas is back. So now we are out of trick, really out of trick. The first step is done. We showcase the Headless Admin API. We hope that is enough to get the Galician help and all the friend help. we have seen the site pages, page specifications, and page elements endpoint to perform full or partial modification of the single and multiple pages. I'd like to stress that what was shown here is available, this action, to other endpoints too. To display page, utility pages, pages templates, and all of them. And this concludes our demo.
So with this, we hope you have gotten a glimpse of what you can do with the new Pages Headless Admin APIs.
You now have a lot of technical details, and we hope they give you a head start when you dive in.
And before leaving this room, we really hope that you take with you this main idea. Sorry. It's you.
Sorry. We are convinced that you will be able to bring significant impact to your projects by applying them in use cases beyond the ones we have imagined. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions?
Questions?
Yes.
When is this going to be general available?
Question to you. Yeah. Let's see. The question from Julia.
I was asking, when is this gonna be general available? Because I know we've been working on it so hard, and you answered that this is gonna be in the product in Q1 release 2026.
Yes, I think
Yes.
we're going to have it as a beta there, right?
It's already as a beta feature working.
Right now, you can already try it in master. There is an feature flag, development feature flag that you need to enable. I think we will include it in the code, so you can try it
Okay.
out. And in Q1, we hope to have it available as beta feature.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Yes.
So when you changes the page specification, page goes to the draft status, right?
Sorry.
When you change the page specification, it goes to draft state, right?
You can, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it not goes to approve state.
No.
So I had a use case where I was using batch to update the pages because I have pages in bulk, and it was going to draft state. So is there a way we can directly move page to approved state so that I
Yes.
have a lot of pages? I can't go and make every pages to approve, right?
Yes, you can use the site pages endpoints and include the published version of the published page specification of the page, and that will update the published version.
Okay, so you're saying
you have a way to update both. If you want to update only the draft, probably makes sense to use the page specification endpoint. If you want to update the page, the draft, possibly, but you want to update the published version, just go for the site pages endpoint.
okay. Thank
and,
you.
And include the page specification with the published status.
Okay. One more question. For the rendering of the pages on the mobile devices or any vendor neutral websites, I want to expose my pages to any other applications. So are you saying that we need to use headless delivery endpoints for rendering the pages or?
Yes, the thing
Yeah.
is that the headless delivery APIs will take into account which user is performing the request, and based on the user, it will decide what is the experience that should be returned.
Okay.
So that is why for the headless, for such a use case as the one you're describing, it makes sense to use the delivery APIs because they will determine the correct experience, performing segmentation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, I have a question. Currently, we are mostly using site initializers to create these pages programmatically. And as I see, data structure is different for descriptors for site initializers and for payloads for APIs. So are there any recommendation for this kind of data migration, or we should manually adopt this data structure?
For now, the site initializer still use the version that you have in the headless delivery APIs. So this is something that we have not started changing, I think, right?
It should be compatible.
Yes, and at some point it should.
You can use batch client extension to import the pages with that specific schema.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you can get the response from the APIs that they show, and you could make them specified and deploy as batch client extension.
That's true. Yeah.
Eventually, like the site initializer will be adapted to this new schema.
So basically, what the batch engine uses, which was showcased yesterday, is the same as what we showed you before. We just went one layer lower. You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay. Wait, please.
Hello, okay. In the payload of the request, I saw that you mapped to the template with the template key. Can you use the template reference code? Does it have a reference code, and can you use it instead of the template key?
By now,
Yeah.
we are using what the info framework returns at info renderer template. And now it's returning DDM structure and the key. So we hope in the future we are going to change this probably to set the external reference code there.
Okay. Okay. And is the template key editable by the user or not? It's like an ID.
Not by now, but I think that product are thinking about it, product management. But by now, if you create it using the UI, you can edit.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
More questions? No? Okay, so
Thank you very much, everyone.
thank you guys.